Hi, huge movie fanatic Nate reporting yet again for a review of a movie. This is, of course, again, another Half Price Books $2 clearance Rolly Rack purchase, which is a movie that I had obviously known about when it came out in '98, it says on the back. The Truman Show. Now, I was not by any means necessarily a fan whatsoever of Jim Carrey at the time. I was kind of thought, yeah, I've never been a fan of Jim Carrey actually, so that explains why I never saw the movie. But I found it on Half Price Books for $2, and I'm like, well, just as I do on so many occasions, I'm like, well, for $2 we can check this out, I think. So I did, and holy cow, man! This movie's kind of cool. The trailer made it look like, how it's like they do that shot of, oh, good morning, and if I don't see you, good afternoon, good night. It's like, the trailer for me made it look like much more Jim Carrey. I mean, like it was just like your normal Jim Carrey screwball crap, where he's just acting like whatever. But it's kind of misleading because, I mean, it's not a lot. It's not like that a lot. It's more about, but most of it isn't like that. So I gotta tell you, I mean, holy cow! I put this movie in, and then I looked at the running time, and it was like 30 minutes had passed, and I'm like, what? And then the next time I looked at it, it was an hour into it, and I'm like, what? So this movie is written pretty well and conceived and executed pretty well. Pretty interesting idea, and this is, I haven't really followed TV necessarily ever, so I don't watch TV, but this is kind of, I think, pretty much before the quote-unquote reality television shit hit the country. If I'm wrong, and it very well could be, I haven't paid attention to the TV scene pretty much ever. But, as far as I know, this is, it's the late 90s, so I mean, I think it's before, certainly before, I think, reality TV, quote-unquote reality TV, exploded to the point it did. And what's interesting is this would be like the ultimate, reality show of, it is an interesting idea, and unfortunately it's, in these days of surveillance and stuff, it's actually becoming kind of a reality in the sense of like the CCTV cameras and all these TV cameras where it's like every single person is, with their cell phone cameras and all these cameras probably in their smart TVs and smart toasters and shit. I mean, this is like, it was kind of a foretelling of the future, what would happen to everyone. So every person out there, you have your own like NSA show that's just not necessarily broadcasted on TV. It's just for the people to collect, the government to collect and watch themselves. But yeah, of course, like you pretty much have to do in a movie, you introduce like the first normal day or whatever of the character, which would pretty much account for the last however many years of this character's life, 10 years of his adult life or whatever. It's just a weird idea. I mean, holy cow! And to see Ed Harris, in 1998, I thought Ed Harris was pretty good in it as the kind of more, lack of a better word, like the god of Truman's life or whatever. And interesting, not necessarily realistic in the sense that, I don't know, anyone would ever go through all this trouble or secure all this land to build this huge fake town thing just for this one purpose, but whatever. It's only a movie. It's only a movie, So, I guess at the end of the day, let's see. I guess at the end of the day, I haven't seen this for a few days, but I guess I can go 3 stars at the end of the day for what's this called? The Truman Show. It was a lot less hijinks than I thought there would be, and to be honest, I guess I would have maybe, almost would have preferred maybe a few more hijinks or whatever. And apparently, several people over the course of his life and the course of the show have tried to do this, have come in to the situation and said, oh, this is your life's a TV show, and then they've been like quickly, arrested and taken away. And I thought that was really tragic, having lost my dad myself. I guess it affected me a little more, that scene where, you know, they did the thing where they drowned. They figured if he had some horrible accident on the water, that would make him not want to go on the water to escape, you know. So they pretended like his dad died in a boating accident, and he didn't really die, and for whatever reason, I don't know all the details, I can't remember all the details, but his dad comes back, and that affected me deeply because of my own life experiences. So 3 stars at the end of the day, I think, is an interesting movie. I can't remember like the very first thing that got him thinking about, you know, maybe it was her when they went on the beach or whatever, and she's like, that might have been the first event that sparked his interest, or his curiosity of, you know, maybe this, you know, he started, from then on maybe he starts noticing things like, you know, people acting, you know, strange, or things just all being done for his benefit. So that might have been the thing that sparked it, I think, that thing with her on the beach. So I don't have a lot to say about this movie, I guess. I guess the ending was obviously fantastic, and it makes you wonder, like, what the hell he's going to do, like, what he's going to do for a living, or what, but I guess he'll find some job out in the world. I mean, shit, he's world famous or whatever, so I guess they could maybe get a job as a talk show or late night talk show, or like, you know, maybe he replaced Letterman or whatever, but I'm sure he'll be able to find work because he's world famous, so. But that's what I always wonder when a movie ends like that, is, you know, it's kind of like Harrison. Oh, I didn't mention this on my regarding Henry review, which is, you know, what's Harrison Ford gonna do? You know, the movie was all happy ending, you know, but he's gonna be a janitor, but whatever. That's beyond the point. I kind of wanted to see what. Shit, I wish I would have remembered to say this in the regarding Henry review, but yeah. So I think we'll leave it at that. 3 stars for The Truman Show. Was worth $2, better than I expected, and, you know, it wasn't like, you know, Dumb and Dumber Jim Carrey shit, which I hated, which I disliked so much back in the day. That's why I kind of stayed away from his stuff. But at this point in the late 90s and stuff, he was kind of, you know, realizing that he can't do that forever, and was gravitating towards more serious stuff, which I applaud him for. So thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you next time.